So this is going to be a long video, I'm sure, although the process shouldn't take more than minutes. We're going to remove the side step on this X6. Mine is a 2009, so I can paint the silver part, this aluminum part. And the first thing we need to do is get underneath, and there are these tabs right here, and they're really just pushed in. Some came out easy, some required a little prying. I already did the other side, so I figured since I haven't seen a video of them actually doing it, see? So that's it right there. It's just pushed in. So first I'm going to remove those. There are let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like there are 5 of them that needs to come out. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove all of these. That's number 2. Here's number 3. And I'll go down to the other end and get this one. There we go. And get this one. On the other side I had one that gave me a problem. I'm suspecting I will find one over here too as well. Why not? Oh, nope, got that one too. So there are actually 1, 2, 3, yeah, 5 of them. Okay. So now at this point, you see this part is pretty much ready at the bottom already. So that's all you really have to do on the bottom. So we're all ready. See that? So now we're going to move up to the sides. Now you can start do the front or the back first. All right, good morning everyone. Yesterday I removed the side steps, and today I'm going to be putting them back on. And so I'm going to try to walk you through how I put it back on. So here are both sides. You have the driver's side over here and the passenger side over here, and these are the side steps. Now, initially looking at them, they almost look like, no, I would be wrong on that. I thought they were almost identical where you could switch them around, but I'm seeing that one side is a little fatter than the other. So yeah, so these are the two. They are painted, they're completely dry now, ready to be mounted. I went with a gloss black. I originally was going to go with more of a flat black, but the flat black was looking kind of grayish, at least the one I had. Didn't look truly black, so I switched over to the gloss. And over here, what we have are the tools that we're going to need to put it back together. I have this out, this was more needed for taking them off, but I may need them. And then of course we're going to need the 8mm. I gotta have both of these are the 8mm, so whichever one I end up needing. I did want to point out that these clips here, right here, that goes in, sometimes some of them will stay on the car, so you just need to go out and remove them off the car. The white ones are more around the door area, and these black ones right here are underneath the car. And what tends to happen are these O-rings that goes on them. Some of them will stay stuck to the car, so you just need to go out and remove them, and then just slip them back on like so. And yeah, I'm sure from being on there for a while, they just stuck a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and start mounting these back up. I'm just putting everything back on where they belong. So I have all the clips back on here. I mounted them on here, so it'll be ready. That one broke, so I skipped over on that one. Let's see here. Now the first thing we are going to do is these right here are the rubber rings that need to go back in, and so I think we should attempt to put those on in first. That goes down here. Then the next one goes in line right there. And then this one goes here, like so. All right, so I just had to get that lined up. And then when we turn them over, you just gotta push each one of these back in. I think they're gonna be kind of pain to do each one individually, but that's what you need to do. Push each one of them back in, as you can see there. All right, so I'm gonna go through and push all of those in, and then we'll resume with the installation. All right, so all of the rubber pads are pushed back in. Wasn't that bad. Probably the most time-consuming part of it all, though. Probably helps when you do put it in. Don't just try to push them in flat, because then it's harder. If you put 1/4 in and then push down, it goes in a lot easier. And then you're able to just daisy chain it along and just do them real quickly. So don't try to push them in flat, you know, the whole circle in at one time. Put it one corner of the hole in, a corner of a hole. Put one side of the hole in first and push down, then it'll pop right in. And then just do that along the whole strip. So there they are all in. So now we are going to mount it to the back onto the this piece here. This is where it goes. And now I have these ties here for just in case. I may need it because, let me grab one of them here. This little thing here, there's two of them, one on each end that helps hold it in place. It's hard to get them out. There's a little, whether you see the opening here, that opening, that square, there's a little tab in there, and on mine they all broke off. That helps hold it in, but it makes it difficult to get it out. And you see these little ridges, just pushes in. So what I'm going to do is see, and so two of mine I believe broke kind of badly. So in case I'm not able to use it, I'm going to just use the zip ties, okay? So but we'll see as I get it on. So now I'm going to take this here and put it down in there. Let's see here. It's hard to do it with one hand, so you have to forgive me. So I think it's better to do the bottom side first. And there it is. I can hear it popping into place as I do the bottom half. So that part's in. And now I can turn it over, and now everything here should be lining up. Now over here on the end, that's where, see that part right there? That's part of the, this is part of the metal plate. And that's where that little clip is that I told you about. Let me get that from over here. That is right here. It kind of just goes in there like so, and just slides, in. See? Now, in case it did, for the broke ones that broke, I would just use zip ties there. All right, and now I'm going to make sure everything is down where it's supposed to be. And I'm going to take the screws and put those back in. I'll just Start them with my finger. Once these are in, it'll be ready to put it back on the car. And I'm only going to show you guys one side. I think once you see one side put on, I think you got the general idea. And I'm sure you guys will find some easier ways to do certain things, and you'll post up your experiences. All right. Definitely difficult to do with one hand. One down there, and I need to get my bit for that. I almost forgot that. And again, this is a number 15. It's the number 15. All right. Oops, reverse. All right, now that we have that, we're ready to go put it back on the car. All right, so now it's time to get this thing mounted. The one thing I wanted to show you before we mount it, when I was talking to you about the zip ties, is that down in the corner, if you end up breaking those, down here, what you can do is just slip one of these zip ties in there to close it off. And zip ties, like everything else, is much easier when you have two hands. Let's see here. All right, there we go. There we go. Good as new. And I will just snip off the excess. And so you want to have your doors open, and you want to have the wheel well body moldings out of the way. That's the front. And doing well. Huh? Huh? Good weather, huh? Yeah, it's beautiful weather. Yes, it is, before we get all that nasty coming in. Oh, yes, it is. And then the rear molding over here, you want to make sure that's out of the way as well. All right. And so we're going to pick it up. And bring it over. And one thing, let me show you real quick. Just getting the light so it's a little easier to see. This is the front of it over here, and you only have these on the front of each one. When you're removing it, take a screwdriver, because you'll be hard to get this out, the front part. You'll be able to see that. Just press that middle section down there with the screwdriver, and then you'll be able to pop those out. So let's go get this bad boy mounted. Now, to do it right, what you want to do is do the front first. So we're at the front door, and instead of trying to go in on an angle like this, trying to slide it up underneath on the angle, it's better to go in and slide the front end up in there first. If you can see that, you see how that went, and then that would allow for you to get the rear. That's the rear door right there. That would allow for you to get the rear to slide up in there a lot easier. There we go. And now it's sitting up in there. And now for mounting this even further, it's easier to start from the front. To deal with these two tabs right here, the 1, 2 tabs, and get those in first. So what you want to do is line those up with the appropriate holes, and then just push those in. And you'll hear audible snap sometimes. On the other side, I heard an audible click, not so much on this side. And then that will allow for you then to be able to bring this around. And you see that clip right there? Take that and put that in there like that. And then that will go back into place. And now we're going to go around and do the rest, and we'll work our way back to the back. And what we want to do is make sure that the plugs are all lining up and not actually bending. All right. See, make sure they all line up with the holes. Let's see if anything's preventing us from back here. Back here. Oops. So back here at the back door, I was just making sure that everything here was lined up as it's supposed to be. So this is between the wheel well right here, to make sure this wasn't preventing me from moving it inward. All right. And so everything so far looks like it's in good shape. So allow for me to go on up here and start pushing everything in. But the main thing is just to make sure that these holes line up so you don't break any of those tabs. All right. Alright, this is at the back door, and I think this is the one that's holding me up right here at this curve. It's a little bit off from the circle. So I'm just going to get that one lined up. There we go. Once I got that lined up, everything else fell in place right away. Alright, I'll hit that in. Close that. Close that, and then come down here, back to the back door. And you see they got this little ledge right here. You have to make sure to get that back in there. So what I do is I just take it, slightly bend it upward. Again, easier when you have two hands. I think I may need to lay that down for a second. Just to be able to get that in there. There we go. Sorry about that. So now it's in there. There we go. And now we're going to do the clips up underneath. So I'll get those clips. And what I found from putting the other side on, that to take the rubber rings, the O-rings, and slide them around the bigger part. Before I had them around this shaft right here, but when I was putting the other side on, I found it's easier to slide them down around that. Whether it's supposed to be that way or not, I'm not sure, but it was definitely easier doing that way. So, working from the front to the back, you got this long peg right here, kind of goes in here. I'm gonna set this down again for a second, because what I'm going to do is, again, I'm at the front. This is the right at the front right here. This should be underneath this right here, if you can see that. So this right here should be underneath there. So I'm going to move this underneath that. All right, so I'm gonna need to set this down for a quick moment, and just gonna pull that back and force that under. All right, I'm not sure how much of that you guys may have captured, but now it is underneath. So then I'll be able to take this right here, plastic that came out, and then just slide it back underneath there like that. It wasn't on my other side though. I guess it may have fallen off, or some previous work that was done on it was never put back on. And now you're just going to take these tabs here and then just put them in each one. See that? Now all of them don't click in like that nice and a nice click. I noticed some of them feel kind of loose. All right, so now that all 5 of those tabs underneath are back on, to keep that from flapping around, we're going to put that one bracket back here on, that one plastic bracket. That would be this right here, and it just goes, oops, wait a minute, and it just goes like that. Yep. So it's just the 3 screws, and then you're all done. I'll just put one up there. One over here. And of course the last one as well. The last piece. All right, so there it is. Let me get a shot with the sun to the back of me. Here we go, all black. I like that. Looks good. Go from another angle from the back. Looks good. All right.